Hello again. This is our fourth in our quick and dirty video series, probably the last one, having to do with energizing water. And I made it a separate video just because it's a unique ability of Brown's gas to actually energize water with a kind of electricity. There's two different ways it happens. The first is that the Brown's gas itself has a kind of a static electricity which can build up on surfaces and points and sharp edges and things like that. And the second thing, that's just kind of contained generally within the gas. And the second thing is, one of the constituents of gas, of the Brown's gas, is something that I call electrically expanded water. It's still H2O, but it's actually been expanded with electricity to the point where it's become a gas instead of a liquid. It just contains electricity, like a sponge soaks up water. Well, the water soaked up electricity. So with these two electrical constituents of the Brown's gas, it actually energizes the water. Now, because of this, we actually never got around to, or never bothered trying to sell Brown's gas enhanced water in bottles, because that electrical energy can just dissipate out into the environment over a relatively short period of time, the half-life being about 12 hours. So you pretty much have to have a machine and make the gas and apply the gas, drink the gas, water, whatever it is that you're going to do with the gas, pretty well immediately. Make it, use it, kind of thing. In fact, I never recommend storing Brown's gas because the mixture of hydrogen and oxygen in a container is very explosive. So we don't do that. We just simply use the gas as it's made. That's the safe way. So what can this energized water do? Well, again, here's our disclaimer. Although I've had personal experience with the gas, most of what I'm telling you is stuff that my customers or people who have experimented with the gas have actually told me. And all I can say is, I understand it sounds fantastic. You're just going to have to check it out for yourself, because these things are almost too good to be true. And I hate to say it that way, but my goodness, it's just a whole realm that science hasn't really embraced. In fact, skeptics throw it off all over the place. You'll see that on the internet, where they'll say it can't happen because science says. Well, science hasn't said. That's the thing. So I'll just point out that, as I say in each of these videos, I say any of these particular statements or what have you, we'll put the resources for that particular video on the website essentially just before we upload the videos, so they should be available as the videos are able to be viewed by you now. So what the first story I'll tell you is Lloyd's daughter, when she was going to college, had to do a science experiment, and she decided to use Lloyd's machine to, again, just bubble the gas through water and feed the water to, in this case, radishes. She chose radishes as a plant. And just see, in this case, she fed, and the pictures of these sort of things will be on the website. She fed a control group, I believe it was distilled water, and then she fed a control group well water, which had mineral content, and then she fed a third group water that had the Brown's gas bubbled through it, and a fourth group well water that had the Brown's gas bubble through it. I believe it was the four aspects there. And it turned out that the well water, the plants did very much better on the well water than they did on the distilled water, which makes sense to me because plants can use minerals from the soil and the water to grow. But in both cases, where the Brown's gas was bubbled through the distilled water, the distilled water, Brown's gas, did better even than the well water. So with no minerals, just the energy from the distilled water, and the highest level was, of course, the well water with the Brown's gas in it, and that was dramatically higher radish production. When we told this experiment to a group of people at a get-together we had, one of the people was a farmer, orchard gardener. He had a relatively a good-sized orchard, and he grew plants for a living and for his own use and what have you. And had a farm in which he had chickens, and I'll get back to the chickens in a minute. But what he decided to do was do the Brown's gas bubbling of water on a grand scale, and in that case he started out by using an ER50, but it was kind of overworking the machine to bubble water for a whole garden. So he ended up getting a earlier version of water torch we call the ER1150, and then enhancing all the water that he was using on his orchards and garden and stuff. And he did a lot of experiments, and we'll throw those on the resources on the website. Suffice it to say that Brown's gas enhances the ability of plants to grow. So now we'll come back to the chickens. This fellow decided, well, it's doing so well on his plants, what would happen if he fed the water to chickens? Seems like a natural thing people tend to start thinking of. So he gave the water to the chickens, and overnight they doubled their egg production. Now, over the next 2 or 3 days, the egg production went back to normal, so this was a very temporary thing, and we're certainly not advocating people trying to get more eggs if they have chickens laying just because of feeding the water. We're not trying to overwork a bunch of chickens. It did demonstrate, however, that animals, in this case birds, that weren't used to the Brown's gas had an immediate effect on their systems, something that just ordinary water was not doing. And that's the point that I'm making in this particular case. Again, the ER50 kits, by the time you see this video, are going to be coming out in batches. In order to learn more about what's happening with the kits themselves and our production and anything else that's happening with Eagle Research, be sure to subscribe to our e-news. We'll get an in-depth, professional quality video done, hopefully by the end of 2012. And in that case, we'll start talking about not only the health aspect of Brown's gas, but things like the neutralization of radioactive waste, the ability of Brown's gas to transmute materials from one element into another, actually even making elements directly from water. So just as if you get our Brown's gas brochure off of our website, it'll have a list of the kinds of things that you'll see will be going into that particular video. And hopefully fairly soon we'll be making Brown's gas book 3 as well, which starts talking about the applications of Brown's gas. Brown's gas book 1 was the theory of Brown's gas. Brown's gas book 2 tells you how to actually build an electrolyzer, and Brown's gas book 3 will tell you about the applications of Brown's gas, which we've been discovering from people, hundreds of people who have been using our electrolyzers all over the world. It's been a pleasure making these quick and dirty videos for you. I hope you have as much fun watching it as I did making them, and we'll see you again.